Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman.
Hydrattery, animalistic. This is why people have black fatigue.
So this is what we have to wake up to and talk about on a Saturday morning? Okay. When they said Make America Great Again, I really didn't understand that we were going to be lifted up and transported back to like the 1800s. I think I missed that part of the conversation. She said that she has black fatigue. Y'all, that's like me telling someone that has a chronic disease or has cancer that I'm tired of them being sick.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right. So in today's episode, you're going to be reacting to a video of a white woman who went viral on TikTok because she came out with her full chest to talk about how tired she was of black fatigue.
Right.
Now, at first I thought that this was just a term that she invented, but it is not a term she invented. Only that it's a term that has been existing that she chose to
bring into her to context with her own words. Now, right now, we do understand that there's a black author who used this word in a book she wrote, and she tried to explain it as black people being tired of the consistent systemic racism amongst other things, right?
Right. But this woman who was on TikTok, a creator on TikTok, she decided to take this term and misuse it and misrepresent it, right?
Yeah.
But guys, black Americans and fellow Americans came out and called her out for this. So let's just watch what we prepared for you, and then we come back and talk about it. Also, let us know your thoughts and opinion on the comment section, and you can consider subscribing if it's your first time here, right?
Right.
Let's watch and then we come back.
Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman.
Just so we're all on the same page, she is talking about that white woman who's about to become a millionaire for calling a black 5-year-old boy the N-word. She is talking about a white woman who used a racial slur against a little black boy, and she is saying the reason why people are praising her is because they're sick and tired of black people's ghetto-ness and complaining and being perpetual victims. She's saying, oh my God, so what? We have done horrendous, heinous things to you and your ancestors for centuries. So what? So fucking what? Stop bitching about the lynchings and the racism and slavery and Jim Crow. And oh my God, like, let it go. You ghetto fucking hood rats. Like, so what if we're like racist to you? We're not as racist to you as we used to be. Like, we really could be treating you like shit. And here you are fucking complaining like the ghetto hood rats you are. I just wanted to translate in case no one understood what she said.
She said that she has black fatigue. Y'all, that's like me telling someone that has a chronic disease or has cancer that I'm tired of them being sick. Them being sick and having to deal with their chronic illness is making me tired. Without even a thought about how it must feel for them to be the ones actually dealing with the disease. It's not normal to be the entitlement of it all, to have the boldness to stand 10 toes down with your shades on top of your head and say that you're tired of someone else's oppression, violence against them, systemic and consistent and continued racism And she probably doesn't even think she's a racist. That's the hilarious gag.
White people have co-opted the word black fatigue to mask racism and say racist and prejudice tropes about us online. I figured I'd make a video to describe my white fatigue, my white malaise, my white exhaustion. FYP shows you what you're looking for. So if you're saying you're opening TikTok and all you're seeing is brawls and fights of black people, look within. Because why are you searching for us? Why are you monitoring us? You guys have the biggest monitoring spirits of life. If you're so tired of us, just leave us alone. I'm tired of white criminals. White people commit 70% of the crimes and arrests in this country. No such thing as black on black crime. You guys created that to continue to paint us as savages. Meanwhile, you guys are the ones committing all the crime. I'm tired of kids not being safe in school because people are being shot by white boys and girls in school. I'm tired of mass shootings in public places. I'm tired of bombers blowing up braces, blowing up buildings. White people killing people. I'm tired of white serial killers. I'm tired of you guys praising white serial killers and then glorifying them by making movies and TV shows. White men committing crime and not going to jail. Stealing money from people's grandparents and stealing money from citizens and then you give them more and more. I'm tired of you guys causing the conditions for people not to be developed around the world or undeveloped and then label them as third world countries, second world countries, and then blame them for the reason that they're not developed, even though you're the reason they're not developed. I'm tired of being exposed to food that's been seasoned with air and imagination because these cows and chickens didn't have to die for no reason. I'm tired of Karens not minding their own business, and then when confronted about the business they didn't mind, then they have white tears, which then cause harm to white bodies, which then predicates police brutality, which you guys are the ones that perpetrate.
If they say you're race baiting, it means that you mention the word white. If they say you always make it about race, you've either accurately described your own race or said the word white. If they say you're always stoking division, it means you've shared a statistic unfavorable to white people. If they say you're the reason racism continues, what they mean is if you just stop talking about your existence or existing, then white people wouldn't have to deal with the minor inconvenience of having to hear about it. If they say they're black fatigued, that means that they don't like it when black people express their own experience in life that is in contrast to theirs.
There was a white woman who has now since deleted her video talking about black fatigue and how she and the rest of society are so fed up with the ghetto and ratchet behavior, the entitlement, the victimhood. Her words, not mine. Couple of things. One, black fatigue is a real thing, but it's not what that lady was saying. Black fatigue is the emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by the daily stress of living under systemic racism and its consequences. So the black community has black fatigue due to the oppression they've lived under in this country since its inception. 2, it never ceases to amaze me how little most white people are willing to look at the true history of this nation and understand that while they personally may not have owned slaves or lynched black people or used black babies as alligator bait or conducted experiments on black people or operated on black women without pain medicine because they didn't think black women could feel pain, they are still benefiting off the society and systems that made those things possible. Racism is deeply rooted in this country from the beginning. We stole this land from the indigenous Native Americans. We brought black people to this country against their will and sold them into slaveries. We ripped their families apart. We have maligned, maimed, and misused the black community since the first ship arrived on the shores of the United States. Do you understand how hard the fight has been to get even a semblance of equality in this country? And now, what little progress we've made is being undone by this administration.
White people attempting to rebrand white rage by co-opting the term black fatigue as though it's a phenomenon they actually experience but only recently found the language to talk about is both dystopianly weird and tragically on brand. The copying, the whitewashing, the centering themselves by playing victim. But what's ironically telling about it is that the concept of racial battle fatigue is not new. It's been around for decades, and the term black fatigue has been used by black people for quite a while. Mary Frances Winters wrote a book that came out in 2020 titled Black Fatigue, and it describes the mental, emotional, and physical exhaustion that black people experience because of systemic racism. Now, notice how black people didn't call that white fatigue, because the purpose is not to assign blame in order to justify bad behavior. It is called black fatigue because it is a harm that black people experience, and so their focus is on addressing and combating that harm.
Whereas when white people talk about experiencing black fatigue, they are not talking about a harm that they experience because of black people or anybody else. They are literally telling on their own inability to live in society with black people. And that's not new either. That's a pathology that has existed for hundreds of years, but call it what it is, white rage.
Black fatigue? This is where we at now? Imagine how we feel. Y'all even colonized that. Like, black fatigue is not what y'all created it to be. It was the fatigue of black people having to exist in this country and dealing with all y'all dumb shit. We were tired, not y'all. Imagine telling the internet that you're tired of all the ghetto-ness and the ratchetness and all of the fights when y'all are quite literally the godfathers of violence in this country. And then all the ghetto and ratchet speak, your kids are emulating exactly what we say and calling it Gen Alpha and Gen Z speak when it was just AAVE repackaged to be palatable for white people. What are we talking, like, y'all are quite literally exhausting. But like 8.5 by 11s are gonna do this all the time. I'm not worried about the hueless. However, the black people getting on and co-signing the black fatigue to make white people feel better could not be me. I imagine agreeing with white people when they aren't even picking you. Super weird. But like, sure.
Because black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior.
I went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to post this video, but I think that it's important. There's nothing more exhausting than being black in America. On Wednesday, May 7th, my daughter and her high school track team went to a city here in Wisconsin called Racine. They attended a track meet at Waterford Union City High School. Upon arrival at that track meet, people began taunting them, calling them gangsters and thugs, and calling them the N-word with the hard R. This continued throughout the time that the team remained at the track meet, with not only just student athletes from Waterford Union High School, but parents and coaches as well, making monkey noises, taunting them, calling them gangsters and the N-word. You think you have black fatigue? We do too. Imagine us still getting called the same insults that your ancestors hurled at ours in 2025. We don't blame you for our problems. We blame you for the continuance of systemic racism.
This is why people have black fatigue.
You know, I've been doing my best over the years, for many years, to educate myself, to learn more so that I can be better. I have immersed myself in racial equity training, racial justice training. I've read books upon books by black authors, authors of color. I have had deep, meaningful conversations with friends of mine who are black and who are people of color. I have never heard this phrase of black fatigue. Now, my sense is that this is just a white privilege phrase that those who care little to none about creating or cultivating some sort of equity for others, those who wish to center themselves when we are discussing issues of the black community or communities of color, indigenous communities. It is my sense that this is a phrase just used by those who are consistently exhibiting racist behavior.
So here's my honest opinion about black fatigue. black fatigue actually exists. However, black fatigue does not exist in a way that a lot of non-black people think. It has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. It is the culture, the society, and the environment you are raised in. It has nothing to do with race, and it never was about race, because if it was about race, then every black person would be acting like that. Black fatigue is a poison well that is consumed by certain locations and environments. Another majorly important factor is accountability. If black people in general don't hold each other and others accountable for our and their actions, there will be no change within our communities. The destruction of property and violence, the need to be extremely fucking loud and ratchet for no reason. I've seen some of these videos from non-white people talking about the black fatigue, and they do have a point. And for the black people who is watching this, believe me, I did not want to hear any of this shit from non-black people. However, some of them, not all of them, because some of them were just straight up racist, but some of them had some solid points. When it comes to gentrification, credit score, stimulus check, lack of funding for black public schools and neighborhoods, government, the CIA, United Healthcare, all of this was targeted towards the black community so we can end up how we are today. At this moment in 2025, the CIA and the government, they're running on autopilot because we're doing the work for them. They have done enough damage towards the black community that they can sit back, crack open a fucking beer, and watch us tear each other apart. The United States' greatest weapon they have on the black community is the black community not holding each other accountable for our actions. Truthfully, we need to start doing that more. We need to follow in our ancestors' footsteps, because what they had back then, they had it right. Not everything has to change and not everything has to be progressive. There are some things that they done in the past was better as it was, and that's completely fine. I am not saying we should just roll over and let them do what they want to do. Instead of only striving for black excellence, we should also strive for black power. Allow the ratchet, the ghetto, the ignorant and uneducated, I have mutual love for them because they are my brothers and sisters. Even then, most of the time, I do not associate with them. But it's because of people like this that exist in our community that gets the spotlight and paints the picture of what black people seem.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. We do understand that right now this creator deleted her video, and guys,
because we tried to find the original video, the full clip, so that we could understand where she was coming from or what she was talking about,
but we didn't find it. And my question is, whatever you stand for, whatever you think to be true, if you're gonna sit down to a point where you organize your thoughts, you sit down and record them, and then you put them out in public, then you believe and you stand in your truth. Why, if you think that whatever you said was correct, why did you delete your original video if you thought that whatever you said was correct? It means you just sat down without, you have to do some research before you sit down and speak about a certain group of people, and you have to educate yourself about the same,
right? And what this trend showed me is that of course we are all human beings, and as human beings, none of us is perfect.
We all have flaws,
right? Since she came out and decided to talk about black fatigue as black people being ghetto, black people being loud, black people being criminals, the normal things that are being pushed in the media, the normal stereotypes. When black people came out and also started pointing faults within the white community, I did actually look at it and say the list was endless, and nobody should stand in anybody's shoes castigating anybody. Because when black people talk about school shootings, that is inevitably undeniable. The biggest percentage of people who do this is the white.
Only that they just sugarcoat what they do. They don't represent it as they do when it comes to the black community.
When they decide to call the black community black and black on black crimes, how then would they call the white crimes that are happening in America? Because as a brother here said, yes, serial killers can come in all shapes, sizes, and race, but the most number recorded are also from the white community. So what I'm trying to say is, as much as she was trying to bring the fault of the black community through the black fatigue challenge, I think the black community came with enough receipts to show her that, look, even in the white community, there is also a lot of discrepancies and a lot of mistakes that white people do. It's just that they're not usually recorded as it is.
And then this also goes to show that you should never ever paint a whole group of people with one brush. There are a few rotten fruits in every community, and we mean every community, you know. And, you know, I think what made it all the more, you know, that the thing that was angering people most is that she decided to do this video because of the video that was trending of the white mom
woman who raised over $700,000 in donation.
Yeah,
because
after she called that little boy the N-word, you know. So she decided to bring her opinion based off of that experience to come and talk about how tired she was of the black community. And I'm like, before, you know, okay, this was just a kid. You could understand the rage if it was a grown man, and this grown man came to this white woman and did something despicable, you know, or just did something to make her angry, you know. But that was a child, and it was an autistic child, to be exact, you know. So they had no reason, she had no reason. Like, kids, you need to correct kids in different ways, you know. They're children, it's what they do, you know.
And so people were just angry with her because she could have used another context to try and bring her complaints forward. But she decided to use this child who was, you know, called out of his name by a fellow white woman, you know. And she came to the defense of this white woman, and furthermore using black fatigue as a term to describe what black community does that she doesn't approve.
Yeah, okay, the thing is, what shocked me the most was that I saw another video of a black American guy who was trying to defend this woman and trying to explain everything about it. And I'm like, you know, I do get what you're saying, but look at it this way, yeah? You cannot sit down, because at the end of the day, these are two things that she was bringing together. First of all, she was defending that white woman, the mom, for doing what she did to that little boy, yeah? And then with the same energy, she was trying now to make the whole black community seem as if they're all ungovernable, you know?
Right, and you know, I do get when you're trying to call wrong for what it is wrong.
Right.
But you cannot come to social media calling the wrong for what it is, which is wrong in the black community, and you failing to see the wrong that is in your own community with the woman who called the child out of her name.
Right, I feel like her message would have been received better if she had actually sat down and genuinely, not packaged it differently, just genuinely also call out, because you can see the wrong in both situations. Call out, if you're going to call out the black community, don't say all of them, call out the small percentage
have a problem with,
call out those ones, and at the same time correct the mom, that white woman who did whatever she did, you know. Don't correct one group and act as if your own group is very innocent and they never do no wrong, you know.
They're just they're existing in America, and black Americans are the pain of their existence.
Yeah, so guys, I don't know what you have to say about this episode. We'd very much like to hear from you, because I do understand that black people also created their own trend, and they were talking about white fatigue, and they came with endless lists, yeah.
And this is why I'm saying that when you as a white person comes to social media to point out black people this, black people that, also remember that in your own community there is faults, and that is why it is usually said, do not remove someone's speck if you have a log in your eye. Does it usually go like that?
Something like that. Yeah, guys, let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. And we want to thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. Let's catch you on the next. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here, right? Don't leave without doing so, yeah?